Ruby Jane is a singer and songwriter from Victoria who has been performing since 2015. She is a graduate of the Academy of Country Music and she recently released her debut EP. One of the songs in that EP is Hoot N Holler, written and recorded with Jen Mize. We're going to talk about that, the Academy, some other things. Hello, Ruby Jane.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And good to talk to you because you have this fantastic instrument of a voice and you have the songs to display it. So I'm going to talk to you about some of those, starting with Hoot N Holler. When and how was it written?
So Hoot N Holler was actually written in Gympie, Queensland at the Song Muster. It was my first time co-writing with so many people. I think there was 6 of us in total. And I just had this idea to write a song that was going to be easy for, crowd participation. So I had a few titles written in my book and I was reading them out. And I just pitched the idea of teaching the crowd the words before singing it, and then everyone could sing along together.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the rest was history. And it was stuck in our heads. It was the first song that we wrote on the first day. So the song muster goes for 4 days,
Mm-hmm.
and we were singing it the whole time.
Right.
It was definitely catchy.
So 6 people is a lot because obviously everyone has their own opinions. How did it end up being 6?
So you just get randomly put into groups at the song muster. It's a great place to meet like-minded people and make connections. And yeah, we just happened to get put into this co-write. Jen was the mentor, and yeah, I was in the group with Brianna Dinsdale, Jaden Leslie, Georgia Donachi, and Jessica Shate. So there was a few of us, and I'd actually just met Jaden the week before at Lefties in Brisbane, and we were I'd only just met him on that night out, and I was like, "Oh, how did you go?" And he said, "Oh, I spent too much money on alcohol." So yeah, we sort of ran with that idea. I had Hoot N Holler written in my book,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it just happened to be the perfect title and a funny story.
Do you remember when you wrote Hoot N Holler in your book?
Yeah, I remember like we wrote it pretty fast too, um, because we were all laughing about what happens on a night out. You've spent too much money, but you've got so many good memories or none at all. Um, yeah, so I wrote it in my book and yeah, recorded it not long after.
Right.
Jen said that she loved the song so much it would probably be one that she recorded in a few years' time. And I said, well, why don't you just record it with me now? So
Right.
yeah.
Did that mean you could get in the studio together, or as is the way of things, sometimes you've got to record your vocals separately depending on schedules?
Yeah, so we actually recorded it together
Right.
in Pomona, just outside of Gympie with Benji Pocock. And yeah, it was a hoot and a holler, that's for sure. Um, a lot of fun.
Did you do anything in particular to get the energy up for the hooting and hollering in the studio?
Yeah, the vibes were high in the studio because I recorded my EP. So the day before, I just finished recording Country Song, which I recorded with Open Season Band. And Jen actually co-wrote that song as well with me. So it was just the end to the most fun weekend. We were full of energy,
Right.
and we were just, yeah, so excited to finally be able to record the song that we'd been singing for ages.
Yeah. So yes, you and Jen have quite the collaboration because you've written other songs with her. There's also some ink involved in this collaborative relationship, from what
Oh,
I understand.
yeah. So this is like my first time using like PR and pitching to CMT. And Jen's been awesome, like an awesome mentor, showing me the way. And I was just thinking one night, what can I do to make like a very memorable video? And I was brainstorming and I thought, I think I know a guy. And then I saw Jen in Brisbane, And I said to Jen, "What do you think about getting tattoos?" And she said, "I don't have a tattoo." So yeah, she didn't take much convincing actually. We didn't really know what we were going to get until a couple of days before. I was sending some ideas. Jen was thinking about getting an owl. But yeah.
Well, that's a fair amount of pressure when she doesn't have a tattoo before. It's like, oh, you got to guide her towards her first one.
Yeah, but I think it was just so much fun and we wouldn't have had it any other way.
So you talked about writing the song at the Song Muster. Was that the first time you'd ever done a program like that?
No, that was probably my second song muster. Yeah, my second song muster I'd ever been to. So, I came up to Queensland 2 years ago now, and I attended my first song muster where I met Jen, and instantly I was in awe of her songwriting, her voice, and just, oh my gosh, she's amazing. And, I was at the time, I was only a happy song singer, and I'd like put myself in this corner where I only sing happy songs because when people like come to my gigs, I want them to just laugh and be outside of the real world. And Jen suggested, oh, so it was like my second time ever writing with anyone else. And I went along to the songwrite the first time with my 3 notebooks,
Mhm.
and Jen's like, "What are your ideas?" And I said, "Oh, I don't have any." I was too scared to share my ideas because I don't know what Jen would think of it. Um, and then Jen said, "Why don't we do something out of your comfort zone and write a sad song?"
Mhm.
And we wrote "The Sheriff's Leaving Town," which is also on my EP, and it's one of my favorite songs that I've written to this day, really close to my heart, a song that I wrote about my father. So I'm really grateful that Jen pushed me out of my comfort zone for
Mhm.
that, for sure.
Why did you want to write a song about your father?
Um, well, I've always been like, listening to songs that relate to my story. And I just sort of wanted to put how I felt into a song.
Mhm.
Um, you know, like I've got siblings and it's sort of like you don't really talk about how you feel all the time.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to put how I felt into a song, and my sister said, "Wow, this is amazing." And even my brothers really liked the song, which sort of meant more to me
Mhm.
than any getting on any charts or anything. That really made me so proud.
Mhm. I imagine it's a little nerve-wracking though, sharing a song like that with your siblings when it would mean so much to all of you.
Yeah, for sure. Which I was very nervous about. I actually had the song recorded and mastered and all that, and it was just sitting like in my emails, in my files on my phone, and couldn't work out when, well, like when I was comfortable to release the song. I
Mhm.
knew for sure I wanted it on my EP, and I just picked a random date, but I think it sat in my phone for probably like 4 or 5 months before I was like, "Okay, I'm ready to put this out into the world."
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, it's out there now.
It is a lovely song. It is also, yes, a sadder song than your other releases. Now that you have written some material that's not a happy song, where are you landing on the happy song, happy singer type of things?
I I definitely love singing sad songs.
Mhm.
I love pouring my heart and soul into a song, but at the same time, I'd love hooting and hollering and having a good time, and so I think, I don't know, I was a bit worried about, like, what's my vibe? But
Mhm.
Link Phelps said to me, "You are the vibe. You can create whatever you want to create." So I think I just love having a mix of both.
Mhm. And you have Honky Tonk Dreamer on there as well, and that's a really lovely song. And I'm guessing that dreaming is an essential part of being an artist. You sort of have to dream this life into being.
Yeah, well, I thought of that idea for the song, because all my friends are at home with their boyfriends, getting engaged, having babies, buying houses, and
Mhm.
I was freshly in Queensland, taking whatever gigs I could get. Um, and I was on the phone to someone and I said, "Oh, well, I just want to be a country singer." Um, and then yeah, I wrote into my phone, "I'm nothing but a honky tonk dreamer."
Right.
And then I wrote that song with Caitlin Marie. And yeah, that's the title track of my EP.
Yeah, Caitlin Marie writes some lovely songs herself, and obviously with
Yeah.
you. So you talked about putting that into your phone, but then you mentioned that you had 3 notebooks. So you obviously keep records of ideas in various
Yeah.
places.
Well, my brain never switches off. I'm always thinking, "Oh, I could write about this," or "I could write about this." Or so they're probably not really organized. It's more like word vomit, books full of it. But it's really handy when you do step into a co-write. You can flick through of all these random ideas. You're not stumped for any sort of ideas.
Yeah. When did you write your very first songs?
Um, so I was 17 when I wrote my first ever song. I did that as a part of my VCE in year 12.
Right.
And then, but that was sort of like a very average song. At the time, I could only play two chords on the guitar.
Right.
So it was just D and A the whole way through the song. Really not that crash hot. But then lockdown started when I was in year 12, and I started playing the guitar a whole lot more and teaching myself off YouTube. And then I attended the Academy of Country Music in Tamworth, and I wrote Concrete Cowboy with Catherine Britt.
Okay.
Yeah, so and then after that, I realized, oh my God, I love writing songs,
Hmm.
and started jumping at any opportunity to write. So I try and write something every day, because Ed Sheeran said you can write 100 songs and only one of them would be a good one.
And sometimes you have to clear out the not so good ones in order to get the good one.
Yeah, 100%.
So at the time you started writing songs, you said you had 2 chords, D and A, controversial choices. I would have thought E minor and C were probably easier, but or at least E minor would have been easier than A. But does that mean that singing was your first musical foray?
Yeah, so I've always been singing. My mum could never shut me up. She's always asking me for like some peace and quiet. Um, and then like a couple of minutes would go by and I'd be humming or singing something. Sorry, mum. Um, but yeah, my music started. My older brother Ashley, he plays guitar, and I think I must have been in like year 7 or something. I saw on Instagram that his band needed a drummer, and I really thought I was going to be the drummer for this band, and I convinced my mum to let me start doing drum lessons. So drums were my first instrument,
Right.
and I didn't make it in the band actually.
Oh, I love the fact that you saw it was your brother, yet you saw it on Instagram that his band wanted a drummer.
Yeah, well, my brother's a bit older than me, so he would have been his like mid-20s, and I'm
Okay.
thinking, yeah, I'm gonna join this band.
Well, look, I think that's probably for the best in that singing is clearly where you're meant
Yeah,
to be. You're not meant to be behind that drum kit. And it is tricky to be a lead singer and a drummer, I think.
yeah.
But you've been to the academy, but you also have other qualifications in music. You have a diploma of music and a Cert 3 in music performance. Why did you decide that tertiary study was the right path for you?
Well, to be honest, I just like the last couple of years in high school, all I could think about was music, but my mum said that I had to finish year 12. So I took the extracurricular music class and did that. And then we were still in lockdown. So I was living in Geelong, Victoria at the time, and couldn't do much. And then I was doing some research about what I could do with my time. And I was actually working at McDonald's at the time, but I just wanted to be a rock star. So I was Googling what I could do, and I saw the Diploma of Music at Kangan Batman. Um, they what do you call it? They recognize prior learning. So the
Right.
3-year course was cut down to about 9 months,
Okay.
and we were in lockdown. So I thought I'll just do something, anything music related. I was just gonna sign myself up for. And yeah, that flew by and got that qualification. And yeah, a couple months later, I think, oh, I was still working at McDonald's.
Mm.
And then, yeah, the next year I came up to Queensland to go to my first ever Gympie Muster and the Song Muster. And yeah, I came to a jam night, met these awesome people who own a music school, and they offered me a job.
Right.
So I've been in Queensland for 2 years now.
Right. And now you said you wanted to be a rock star, but from what I understand, you grew up listening to country music.
Yeah. Yep, yep, yep. Yeah.
So who were
So,
your favorite artists growing up?
oh, I loved everything that told a story, but definitely Dolly Parton.
Mhm.
She was very inspiring. Like watching her movie and listening to her song about coming from nothing and making something, I really related to that. But I listened to everything, anything my mum, we had all these CDs from Elton John to Lee Kernaghan. Like, the reason I started playing the guitar was because I wanted to just be a sunny cowgirl.
That's
Yeah.
gorgeous. So you want to be a Sonic. I love it.
Yeah. So I listened to everything. I remember I was 16 and I was convincing my mum that we should go to CMC in Ipswich, and from Geelong, obviously that was a fair hike. And
Mhm.
my mum was like, "Oh, if you can get the money for it, we can go." And yeah, worked, and we caught a train from Melbourne up to Ipswich,
How long did that
and
take?
a while, but we got there, and it was like, it just was a match to fire. I was like, "This is what I want to do.
Okay.
This is where I want to be." So yeah.
Were there any particular artists who stood out for you at that CMC?
Well, the Luke Combs was headlining that year. There was also the boy band Home Free,
Mhm.
who a cappella, and I was like, that is the coolest thing ever. Um, but yeah, I just think what really stunned me was being in a sea of thousands of people. Like, obviously, I've loved country music for years, and you're at the pub and everyone's singing along. But at CMC, there was thousands of people, and everyone was singing Luke Combs songs
Mhm.
straight back to him, and I thought that is crazy. Um, and I hope someday people sing along to my songs. So
And hence wanting them to hoot and holler along to that
yeah,
song.
yeah,
And when you've played it live, has there been singing along to the song?
yeah. There's been a lot of hooting and hollering.
Right.
Um, so after the Song Muster, Gympie Muster, they have a little spot for the Song Muster. So that was the first time I played it live, and Jen got up and sang it with me. And there's been a couple of times where Jen's been at the same festival or gig, and she's got up and like sung it with me.
Mhm.
So it is a lot of fun, and a lot of people are like, because when I started playing it live, I was like, I'm thinking of getting a tattoo in the music video. If you have any good ideas, come up to me after the gig and let me know. So I had all these amazing ideas, and I just ended up with going with Yeehaw.
Look, it's descriptive and appropriate.
Yeah.
So I actually, I've been remiss. I have not watched the music video in preparation for this interview. Does it mean that there is footage of you getting inked in the video?
Yeah, well, I can send you the link to it. It's pretty cool.
It sounds cool, and it sounds like Jen is in it as well, getting inked. So that was well done. So from this point on, are you planning new music? Have you recorded some more music? What's going on for the rest of 2024?
Yeah, so last year was all about recording this EP, and obviously being an independent artist is a lot of money. So I was working towards recording that. So this year I'm focusing on doing as many live gigs as I can. And I'm also writing a lot. I've got a lot of stuff already written that I'm ready to record, but at the moment I'm just planning on what I would like to do next.
Mhm.
It's so crazy being able to do, like, I could put whatever out there, and I'm just a bit like, what next? I want to do it all.
Love it, and I think you should go for it all. So if people want to see you live, do you have any regular gigs?
I'm a bit all over the shop really, but if they follow my Instagram, I'm always posting where I am. So obviously I'm a Victorian girl. So I've been going down to Victoria to play some gigs and rodeos. But I've also been going up north and into central Queensland, just wherever. It's all about the adventure.
So rodeos, I imagine, are quite an experience to play at, because it's that crowd has many things on their mind, and listening to music is not necessarily one of them.
No, but I actually like my first few opportunities singing in front of people was singing the national anthem at the rodeos in Victoria. So it's really nice to go back to singing at rodeos. I just flew down for the Whittlesea rodeo not that long ago, and like all these people sort of become your family because you've known them since you were like I was 15 or 16. Um, and yeah, we've
Mhm.
grown up together.
And you said it's all about the adventure. Have you always been an adventurous person, even as a child?
Yeah, for sure. I just can't sit still, don't want to stay inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just always am like, yes, let's go explore something else. So
Mhm.
I've been in Queensland for 2 years now, but I'm thinking, all right, I'm ready for my next adventure. Where are we off to? So I don't know where I'm going next, but I'm just ready to explore something because, they say nothing changes if nothing changes.
True. Where's the furthest you've been to play a gig?
Oh, um, well, I don't really know.
Well, Central
Probably,
Queensland's probably quite.
yeah, that was a fair hike. Yeah, I've literally been all over the shop. Like a couple weeks ago, I was in Geelong, Victoria, and then I went up to Rainbow Beach,
Okay.
and then I was in Longreach,
Okay.
and then I was in Gosford like the other week too. So
Right.
I'm really all over the shop.
Yeah. You're getting to see a lot of the countryside, and I'm sure you're picking up story ideas as you go.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, Ruby, it's been lovely to speak to you about your single Hoot and Holler and about your other songs, and I'm sure we'll hear many more adventurous songs from you in the future, and I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for your time.
Thank you for chatting with me.